Hola. So we are doing a dice tray. I thought I already had one of these up there, but I was wrong. So what do you need for a dice tray? Well, this is a new shape. We've done square, we've done hexagonal. Today we're doing rectangle, yay. This is the 5x7 size. So you will need a piece of medium weight cutaway and 2 pieces of marine vinyl, measuring 6 inches wide and 8 inches tall. Plus, of course, obviously, the pattern, your embroidery machine, and some thread. So the first thing I always do on my stitch, I print stitch sheets. Not just because I've got 8 billion things going on at once and I need to figure out where I'm at and what I'm doing, but also for me, when I am stitching stuff out for testing, if I find that, ew, that's ugly, or that needs to be fixed, or why did you do it that way, I make little notes. But when I'm using somebody else's pattern, and it does happen from time to time, as a matter of fact, I did a sunflower for my bestie's mom on her mahjong bag, and I went and got a pattern from Embroidery Library, and it was 79,000 stitches and 25 different color changes. So I don't know that I will be doing Embroidery Library again very soon, because ouch, that was painful. Even with a 6 needle, that was painful. Okay, so this allows me to pull my colors and make some notes to myself if I'm not sure what I'm doing. Okay, so on my dice trays, the first color is always going to be yellow. That's a die line. You don't have to do it in yellow. The second and however many other colors are going to be the interior details. Then when you see that light red, that means the next 2 steps are uniform on all dice trays. This is going to be that inner square, and you don't do it in red, you do it in whatever color you want to make it all pretty. And then this last yellow is the exterior square or rectangle or hexagonal, plus die lines for your cam snaps. So you don't have to figure out, where do I put these snaps to make it work? All right, so the first thing we're gonna do is probably drink a little less caffeine on days we have to do videos, because I just realized that I am speaking at like 5,000 words per minute. You grab your hoop. Am I in? Yes, I'm in. Aha. And you grab your medium weight cutaway and you hoop that bad boy up. And then you throw it in the machine and you run your die line. So I will be back in a minute with your die line. Ooh, look what I have for you. I have a die line. See my die line? Woohoo! Now it's time to put our first piece of vinyl on. So you can do this in a multitude of ways. You can just float it. Trust the gods that it will stay in place, that gravity does work in your house. Now, all of us have had that moment where the vinyl or fabric or felt gets caught underneath the needle, strike plate, or not strike plate, the needle guide, and bends back and folds over. So we get a little paranoid and we want to hold this down. You can use a little bit of spray adhesive. You can use 505, you can use Dritz. This is spray and bond basting adhesive. I usually see what's on sale, what's cheapest. But if you have been here for more than 5 minutes, 3 guesses what my very favorite way to make sure your vinyl doesn't slip. That's right, guys. Painter's tape. I love me some tape. So I'm just gonna put a little piece of tape here. I'm gonna make sure that I am outside my die line. And then I'm gonna throw this bad boy back into the machine, and I am going to run color stop 2 and color stop 3. I will be back before 4. Haha. See you shortly. Alrighty, so we have run color stop 2 and color stop 3. It is time to trim our jumps. And since this is one of my designs, we've got 1, 2, where are they? That's it! And actually those technically weren't jumps, they were the start and stop of the thread. I know, isn't that cool? Okay, so now it's time to put the back on. And because I like to add danger and pain to my life, I am going to use the dreaded evil mirror glitter. Woo! I just like things to be difficult, don't I? All right, so first, I'm gonna tape that bad boy down, making sure that I'm covering my die line and that my tape does not go over my die line. Then, because in high humidity, and right now we have thunderstorms in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, so we have got all the humidity. In high humidity, mirror glitter. Actually, it doesn't even have to be high humidity. If it is a day that ends in Y, mirror glitter likes to grab your metal needle plate and stagger and hiccup and give you all kinds of problems. So there are a couple of ways to solve this, and I've even got a video on my YouTube channel talking about the different ways you can do this. One of these days, I am going to put masking tape over my metal needle plate to help it glide. Just today is not that day. What I do is I grab some of really lightweight WSS and I tape it on the back. Voila. Now we're going to throw this bad boy in the machine and we are going to run the last color stop. And this is where, guys, you have to remember, either write it on your stitch sheet in big letters or put the bobbin on this last piece of vinyl right on top of your stitch sheet. Do something to remind you that when you put this back piece of vinyl on, you need to change your bobbin color to match your top thread. Now everybody's going, wait a minute. Top thread is 40 weight, and my machine uses 60 weight or 90 weight for bobbin thread. Yeah, I know. It's not gonna mess with your tension at all to run a bean stitch and a couple of little die lines in matching bobbin thread. It really won't mess it up. Now, if I were gonna be doing like a 70,000 stitch design with top thread in my bobbin, that will probably wear on your tension and cause your bobbin basket to wear out. So I probably wouldn't recommend doing that, but we're talking about something that's really less than 800 stitches. It is not even going to hiccup. So I'm gonna throw that in, and I'll be back in a minute to show you how to finish this bad boy. And we're back. Don't you just love the magic of video? I was hardly gone a second. So now we have finished. Isn't it pretty? We're gonna have a few more jump stitches on this one than we did on the design itself, just because, well, you know, it is what it is. And one of the things, guys, when I do the 4x4s and the 5x7s, I do them on my 770 so that I get a good idea of what I'm about to put you through. I try, like the Dickens, to minimize these jump stitches. Things like the Starry Hogwarts and Starry series in general, you just can't. All right, now we're on the back. We're gonna get rid of these big, long, luscious jumps. Don't you love the long jumps over the small jumps? Man. Okay. And it's just a cut to the left and a cut to the right. And you bring your scissors in tight. And there we go. All right. Now, while it's still in the hoop, this is when I like to take off my tape because I don't have fingernails. And it's not because I chew them, it's because I have thyroid disease, which means my nails and my hair don't grow very well. And then we're gonna pull off our WSS, just like that. And then I'm gonna come in here and pull off our WSS. And don't worry, see how those little die lines for your cams are coming out? You can still see, maybe not on camera, but in real life, you can still see the punch holes, so it'll be easy enough to line up. Okay, and it looks like I had a hiccup in my giddy up right here. I got a little bit of a nest, something caught. I didn't hear it. I didn't go over there and fix it, but luckily I can just trim that down and we're good to go. Now we're gonna pop this sucker right out of our hoop and we're gonna trim it down. So, kapow. All right, now this is where being a former quilter comes in handy because I have all of the rulers and I love using my little roto cutter to do my big, long, straight lines. It makes things go so much faster. So I like to trim about 1/8 of an inch from my bean stitch. I don't want to trim right on my bean stitch because then I might clip my stitch and that will undo the binding between the top and the bottom. And then you'll have a floppy tray. And nobody likes a floppy tray. And then boom, chicka-boom. Last one. All right, and now we have to put our cam snaps. And I am using standard size cam snap, which is, I have no idea what size cam snaps I use. I use size 20. Size 20. And if you have a problem with getting your cam snaps to stick, there's a couple things you can do. The first one is table presses. Woo, table press will let you just, but it's kind of hard to film in the table press. The other thing is long prong. You can use long prong. And then also pre-punch your holes. A lot of you use crocodiles. I'm not rich and fancy, so I found this cheapy little hole punch that has several different sizes. This one comes from Amazon, but I have seen them at Harbor Freight. And I just punch out my little holes first, rather than using the owl to do a pass-through hole. And I'll line it up right dead center in the middle of my die line. And if I get any of these little, see how I got on the back here where it wanted to stay? This tool comes with a file owl, and it's perfectly sized for sticking through those little holes and making sure you've got your Jiminy Hoobas all the way punched through. Yes, that's a technical term. You can even look it up, Jiminy Hooba. It's going to say this little round dot that's annoying me. Arr! All right, there we go. Now, this has 8 snaps, so you will need 8 buttons, okay? And then you will need 4 females, that's the pokey-any ones, and you will need 4 males, that's the pokey-outy ones. And before anybody goes, so what are all these little snap trays for? Well, you can see, I use them in the sewing room, and I've got like one by the kitchen sink to put my rings in when I'm doing dishes. I got another one by my bathroom sink, so that at the end of the day I put my jewelry in it. I got another one on my nightstand, so jewelry I forgot goes in there. I've got one in the living room right next to my seat on the TV, and it has all my thumb drives in it. They're just great little occasional trays, but the original design, the original intent was for board gaming. A lot of games have all kinds of little pieces and parts, and if you've got a big table, somebody's drinking, they spill the drink, it goes all over your little pieces. But if you've got little trays, you can keep your little pieces from going all over the place. All right, so pick a side, any side. We're gonna start right here. We're gonna take a button. See my button? Yeah, I know, I need to chill on the coffee. It's all good. Put your button through. Then take your little female, your pokey-any. Then we're gonna take our pliers, blah, blah, blah. We're gonna line up the button on the black. We're gonna push. This is not a put some elbow into it, really put it in. No, you're just trying to smush the little itty bitty point. See the little itty point? Flat, so it stays. Now we're gonna take another button. We're gonna stick it through. We're gonna take a male this time. We're gonna take a male, and we're gonna put it, boink, just like that. And we're gonna repeat this 3 more times. All right, and I always like to put my females on the same side and my males on the other. Yes, gender segregation. You would have thought it's not the 50s. We've come as far way. But it's my little system, and I like my little system. And sometimes OCD manifests in helpful ways. And sometimes OCD manifests in ways that drive your husband batshit. So, whichever, whatever. Blah-diddy, blah-diddy, blah. And last one. And if I'm going too fast, you can always use the slow-mo function. kapoom, and kapow. We are all good. And now for the fun part. Yay, we get to snap. And snap, and snap, and bend and snap, and bend and snap. And then we're gonna fold along our stitch line just a little bit. We're training our vinyl. Woohoo. And if I want to train it more, I might fold some stuff over and put some books on it. But for right now, woohoo, this is the 5x7 rectangular snap tray with the rectangular Celtic knot in the bottom. Yay, woohoo. And we're all done. I've only got 4 more just like this. Peace.